Hi, welcome back to Mike Schultz Survival. Today what I'm going to show you is if you're ever out in the woods and lost and you do have some type of blade with you, that you do still have a chance of being in survival. You don't have to have everything, but you do need something. A blade, not only can, and a machete is my choice of it. That's what I carry in the woods when I go, so if I get lost, that's what I'm going to have with me. But it allows you to cut larger things as well, so you can help build your shelter. Not to mention, you can take your time and you can carve out some tools. Now, I didn't carve these today, but I did carve these. This is just a little small shovel and a pick. And the reason being it's a little tiny shovel and a little pick is because I was carving out a bow and arrow. And if you could see the whole scale thing here, I was carving out the bow with it. And what happened is, over on the end I've made my shovel out of, it got this brown wood got in it and it let it start cracking. But a little further on down on the end of the bow where the crack came in. Now if I cut it off, I'd have to cut the other side off, making it too short for that. So I put a lot of work in cutting those curves out in this, so I decided to make a shovel and a little pick. And of course the spike itself is from a hard wood, not the white oak that I used. I had to go cut it out separate, but it's good for tearing up the ground in any kind of survival situation when you're out. If you gotta maybe go do some foraging, come back to camp and bring your little wild onions, sassafras, whatever kind of dandelion roots you could find, and start your little garden there at camp and get them growing. Even after it gets cold weather and the greens are dead, the roots are still down there for a little while until once the ground freezes. But you try to take it for as long as you can. That's the name of the game, right? So take those roots out, dehydrate them by smoking them, and go for it. But back to the day's deal is we're going to just find us a little random trail here that goes in and out. It looks like the deer could probably really be, using any of these hardwooded areas. We're finding a little sign, a little scat, so we're just going to set a random little trap right up in here just to say, hey, if he comes through, maybe there's a chance. We might even use a few bushes to kind of lure him on in this way. But the name of my game here is, first thing first, we're going to dig a perfect little symmetric hole. And the name of that is just clear all this brush back out of the way. Save it. It's going to be used to cover your trap in the future. But you take all of this dirt, get down to the top layer of soil, and of course, that's where you get an idea of about how big of a hole you want. You go ahead and get this hole started out to the size you want it, and then you can go ahead and start getting your picking going on with it and digging it down. That's basically what the pick's going to be good for, is just loosening up that top hard dirt. Once you get down in there a good bit deeper, chances are it's going to start turning into a clay and a harder dirt, and you're going to have to. That's why I like this out of white oak. It's good and hard, and I'll be able to use it to pick and cut at the same time. So it's going to be hard for me to dig all this with just one hand. So I'm going to have to put my little recording device down and get back with you. I'll go ahead and get my hole dug out and get close to the finishing touches, and then we'll be right back in there in touch with you, just to show you our little old area, a nice beautiful cedar, a rotten stump here. But this is our spot we're going to put this hole. Okay, welcome back. We've now still here with our little stump, our little cedar. We've now done gave our tools a good ultimate breaking it in. We got our stuff down to the bottom of it as far as we could go. But be straight up honest, we've had to use our blade to go down in there some and chop it around and get it loose. And we've tried to smooth it out as smooth as we can on the sides already. But we got it pretty deep. So from this point, we will be back to show you the rest of the demonstration. Okay, welcome back. Now, we're going to start working on our trap a little more. What we're going to do to it there is I've carved out some pretty good, and I mean Some of them are a little fatter than others, but they're all still from a good hard wood. As long as you can get it from a real good hardwood, you have a real good strong type of wood that's going to hold. And the more it dries out, the more stiff and harder it gets. But if you notice how it's got a little bit of a rainbow shape to it. Okay, well, most of the wood in here that I'm going to do my best to find, it's going to have just a little bit of a rainbow shape to it. And as you pull them out, you'll notice that some of them may be a little more aggressive rainbow shaped over than others, but that's okay. Some are a little shorter, and that's okay too. But what we're going to do is we're going to start off by going down into the hole there with the stick. And see, the stick needs to be pretty close to about the size of the hole, but not quite the full length. And you're going to go down into the hole a good 3-4 inches, at least a good 3 inches. You know, get down in there until you can see it getting into the real hard, tight dirt. And use these holes like this, pre-existing holes, in your advantage. And what you want to do is go into those holes, and there's already been a hole there once before. Don't know for what, but get down into the good dirt and give it a little bit of a downhill. This is about straight in, so you really want it downhill, and you want to try to just spin it around and spin it, keep spinning it. And if it ever gets stuck in one spot, spin it, spin it, spin it some more, and push on it and spin it. And just continue to push and spin, pushing that stick in as far into the ground until when you look down, you're right about midways, but a little bit more back that way. So on in and in and more she goes. And once I get it in, I'm going to want to pull this stick back out. You're going to want it in pretty deep. And I already have my hole there now. So when I go to set my trap up now, all I have to do is just come back to it. And the hole already being there is just take my stick and go on back into it, give it a little pushness. That's going to impose that stick to be going downhill. And we're going to put these holes in round, 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 all the way around, and put a whole bunch of them in, leaving a little hole and all of them sloping down. So I shall be right back to show you the outcome of that shortly. Okay, welcome back. Now we're going to show you down on the inside. We try to take all our points and put them here toward the middle as much as possible, and hoping somewhere within a circle this big that a foot would come down with a hoof. And of course the sudden fall of it, the pressure, he's going to go right through this. He's not just going to stand on it. It's going to bend over enough to allow his foot to slip down through into there. And of course coming back out, I have to move my fingers around to get them out, because with them things pointed down at the angles that they are, it don't allow him much way of getting out. I also put in some shorter spikes as far as I could up in there pretty deep in several different areas to close up the bigger holes, that if his foot gets on it, maybe it would slide it down enough to get him in the center. If not, at least get him in here at an angle enough to where one of those spikes would get in there and hold him in. I put him in several different areas, and once I get him in, we know he has plenty of room on below that to fall with his foot, where he come along and all of a sudden his foot just, and see, that's actually just holding this up spur of the moment, but if I was to force it down in there, it would go. But coming back out, it would be a different story. Like I say, these sticks are going uphill, allowing the points to be downhill, so they're going to let them spring on down anyway, so as the foot come up, she'll tighten. So what I want to do is probably take and cover up my hole, find me a few sticks, and go across there and try to get them as close to possible and perform a little bit of an X. And then go to your wider hole spots. And then you might want to go ahead and perform your little square. But the main thing is getting this thing covered to a point that you could lay you some coverage across the top and it not be seen. you're going to want an animal to be coming down through here. And if you had any good sense about making traps, you can then make a little rattle trap that would maybe scare the animal to come on down a little bit further, faster, and put itself right on in here. That's what we all hope on, but a lot of times in nature, different things work out. And all for a reason. It could be all a part of your learning experience. Just know that these things have been done before for people to live, for humanity to make it as far as it has. These little bitty tiny sticks like this, of course, will crunch under a little bit of pressure. Once she's all good and covered up, what I do is take my original ground coverage that was there, try to lay me little clusters in places, come around, a little light sprinkle here, a little light sprinkle there, just a little something that might not let them know what's happening. Shake them on around more to the point that it's covered away and you don't know it's there. You do have your dirt pile beside there, and that does make it curious as to why is that there. But if you use the dirt pile to your advantage, which what I recommend to do, clean out your spot, leave it as scent free as possible. Scatter out some leaves around in the area, leaving the ground looking different in other places as well. All that does is just hide your spot better. Then you cut off a bunch of little green saplings for spikes as well, and you brought them back and they're laying over here. So now next thing you do is you bring those things in and you clear out him a perfect little trail for him to walk, allowing this dirt pile be part of the things that would keep him being inside here. So we now have a few things here to kind of avert the attention of ones on the path. Of course the dirt pile would make them wonder what, but now we have a few little bushes here, and we're going to throw in a few more bushes, but it opens up a trail for them to walk across. And like I say, put a trap in here somewhere along his path for him to trip it, make noise behind him, make him run a little quicker, who knows. But I do know if you can get him to walk across there and drop his foot down in that hole, he will be yours for lunch. That is a survival trap that you can set and put one here, zigzag, zigzag, maybe 5 of them in a trail, cover them, set out, wait on the animal. Once he's in the path that you know he's going to run through there, jump out, ambush him, make him run a little quicker right on through your path. There's different methods, different ways, baits, scents, smells, and just naturally walking along. It's a very effective trap. It will work very well if you ever find yourself in a survival situation and in need of a large animal that can provide food for a very large amount of time. So this is the pocket knife build, machete build, just as long as you have a blade that says you can build some kind of digging tool, or even use the blade for the digging tool, cut your spikes, cover them up, and wait it out. You have nothing to lose, only a little protein to gain. It's Mike Schultz Survival. Thanks for watching.